In this video, I'm not going to tell you to stop using a phone because I don't believe in it, it's not going to work, and I'm just going to waste my time. And instead, we can actually learn how to use that in our advantage and how to understand what we really want and how to create the reality that we want. If you're ready, let's get started. Have you ever noticed how you can scroll for hours and feel that mix of guilt and fascination? Why can't you stop even though you know that you've seen everything already? Well, here's the thing. The very content that you glue to is actually showing you what you deeply desire deep inside. And the crazy part is that if you start acting on that instead of just watching, your real life will start showing it almost immediately. So today, let's dive into why we get stuck with certain content, why social media hooks us so hard, and more importantly, how we can take all that scrolling energy and turn it into something that will actually manifest in your life. First, if you can sit for hours and watch videos without breaking concentration, don't beat yourself up. You haven't actually lost your ability to focus. It's just that it focused at the wrong place. The problem isn't that you cannot concentrate, it's that your attention is being pulled towards something that doesn't actually satisfy your real world needs. And if you tell yourself, stop scrolling, it usually doesn't work. But why? Because each of us has certain core needs like attention, connection, or status. And if those needs aren't being fulfilled in real life, your subconscious will find an outlet for it. And for a lot of people, that outlet is their phone. Think about it. You might scroll through videos of wealthy people, fancy cars, amazing vacations, influencers looking perfect. You cannot really look away, and you've been doing it for years. Or maybe it's a content about fashion, traveling, or spirituality or psychology. You feel drawn to it, almost addicted, and no matter how much you watch, you just cannot stop, right? And here is why. Your real world needs aren't being met. Watching videos gives you the small, tiny symbolic taste of what you want, but it's not actually the real thing. For example, if you crave status, watching rich people's lives satisfies it just enough to keep you scrolling. And let's say if you want to be with someone, online interactions or subscriptions might trick you into thinking that your need is being met, but in reality, real human connection is actually missing. Or let's say if you crave creative expression, consuming endless content can feel satisfying at first until it starts draining your energy because you're not actually creating anything yourself. The tricky part is that even if you tell yourself, that's it, enough, it doesn't really disappear. Your needs will keep trying to find an outlet. You've been watching content that reflects your desires. Your subconscious knows how to push your attention towards it. Sometimes people try to redirect their energy by giving advice, like teaching their friends and family, or helping in some innocent random ways, but it can backfire, I know from my own experience, I often see people giving advice on something nobody really asked for. It makes people upset and, really uncomfortable. So, your need for status, connection, or creative fulfillment is still there. And until you act in the real world, the scroll will win every single time. Here's the insight that most people miss. The content that you're watching isn't just random, it's a map of your desires. Every video you stay on is pointing towards something your mind is craving. And acting on that, even just a tiny little step, creates the real energy, momentum in real life, For example, maybe you watch, let's say, fashion stuff, but never try anything yourself. But even just buying a small piece of fabric and making a dress or a pair of pants can ignite the energy inside you. Or if you watch, let's say, entrepreneurs and dream about starting a business, contact a supplier, create a tiny product, or sketch an idea. It's going to be enough to start breaking that loop. Even if it doesn't succeed, it's fine. The act of just doing aligns your energy with your desire. It's the first spark that makes the scrolling feel less irresistible and starts the flow of real creation. You have to understand that life isn't just random. It's made of systems. Your relationship with yourself, with others, your creative projects, how you behave in the world outside, These are all systems, and every system needs a purpose. When the system has no purpose, it collapses. You feel drained, stuck, and unfulfilled. Endless scrolling, it's like scrolling a system with no purpose. At first, it's fun, but eventually, it just sucks the life out of you. You feel like you're learning, but nothing translates in the real world. You know that feeling, right? You watch, you consume, you feel the small, tiny thrill, and then nothing. The breakthrough comes when you go from watching to actually doing. You take those desires that content showed you and bring them into your life. And it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? The first step can be small, insignificant, imperfect. That's what I did. I spent years watching videos about psychology, spirituality, loss of the universe, self-development, and so on and so forth. At first, it was so exciting, but then it started to feel empty. The real shift happened when I started applying what I learned, and suddenly I had energy, fulfillment, and everything else. So when you act, even imperfectly, you create the feedback loop of natural motivation. This is what you have to chase because it makes you stop being glued to your phone. It makes you want to do more, think bigger, bring your desires to life in ways watching alone never could. Maybe you've been making things at home, started a hobby, or dreaming of a side project, but it's just been sitting there. Nothing really happens if it stays in your head or on the screen. But when you take even the tiny action, let's say buy the fabric, write a post, call a supplier, your energy is going to shift. You will start seeing possibilities that you've never noticed before. Ideas will grow, will multiply, and the next step becomes obvious, okay? And it doesn't matter if it fails. Even mistakes give you energy because your real desires are finally being expressed. So stop beating yourself up for scrolling. Just look closely at what you're looking for actually. What need is being fulfilled? What emotions are you chasing? And how can you satisfy that need in real life? Even tiny, tiny imperfect ways. The moment you take the first imperfect action, everything is going to change. Energy will flow, ideas will grow, motivation will surge, and the scroll no longer feels irresistible. It transforms into inspiration for real life action. This also applies if you're deep into self-development, psychology, or spiritual content. You might think that you've seen everything, that you cannot stop consuming. Eventually, the key isn't learning, it's applying what you already know. So start creating, sharing, or just experiment in the real life. That's where the loop breaks. You're gonna feel alive, you're gonna feel motivated, and all the knowledge that you've been consuming suddenly has a purpose. So, listen, your potential is already inside you, okay? Your phone just shows it to you through the content, but only real action makes it real. So instead of guilt, ask yourself, what am I really looking for here? How can I give it to myself in real life? Even imperfectly. Take any action, do something, anything. It doesn't have to be perfect. The energy, ideas, and the joy that will follow are real. Your desires are waiting for you. Don't just watch someone else live them. Go live them yourself.